15, I see 4 pieces here, or 4 terms is the correct wording. That tells me, hey, it's factor by grouping. So I'm going to group these and then factor out. So let's see, what factors out of an x cubed plus 5x squared? I can factor out an x squared. That'll leave behind an x plus 5. What about here? Well, 3 factors out, leaves behind an x plus 5. Notice that they both have an x plus 5 that now can be factored out. So we factor out an x plus 5, and then it leaves behind the x squared plus 3. That binomial times that binomial. Again, when I see 4 pieces, right away, I'm going to factor by grouping. Number 16, hey, there's 4 pieces, so I'm going to factor by grouping. So I group, but if you group here, notice that subtraction sign has to carry through. You can't do that. That creates a problem. So we have to be very careful here. What do? Here's what we do. Very simple. Change that minus 7k squared to plus a negative 7k squared, and then group like that. And that way you have a plus that whole quantity there, and it doesn't create a problem. So let's re-look at that. Here's what we have. We rewrite as plus negative. Okay, now factor out. Here, a 2k factors out. You're left behind with a k squared plus 1. Plus, when we do this, whenever we change that subtraction to a plus negative, you're going to factor out a negative number. In this case, it's going to be negative 7 that factors out, leaving behind a k squared. Now, negative 7 times what gives you a negative 7? A plus 1. Notice we now have a beautiful k squared plus 1, k squared plus 1. So we can factor it out front and leave behind the 2k plus negative 7, but we'll go ahead and rewrite it as the minus 7. That's a little tricky, so we have to be very careful with that one. 17. Oh, same thing. Notice you have a minus there. We're going to change that subtraction, subtract b, to a plus and negative b. Group here and group here. Now, when I factor out for this first piece, I get 5b squared factors out. I'm left behind with a b minus 2 plus, now, I said factor out. Nothing factors out. Well, really a negative 1. We're always going to bring at least a 1 out. We'll bring a negative 1 out. Negative 1 times a positive b is the negative b, and negative 1 times a subtracting 2, a negative 2, gives you that positive 2. And notice that we have created a b minus 2 and a b minus 2. So this factors to a b minus 2. And the other binomial will be 5b squared minus 1. 18. Luckily, it looks pretty simple. 10 and 15, I have a 5k cubed k, just a k. 5k times a 2k squared gives me back my 10k to the third. 5k minus times a negative 3 gives you the 15k. Plus, does anything factor out? No, but we're going to put a 1 there, because if nothing factors out, you really have a 1 there. And notice we now have, again, that guy and that guy match. It's beautiful. It can factor out. If it doesn't match, then hey, it doesn't factor. 5k plus 1, and there we have it.